Well, first and foremost, I want to congratulate, Mheshimiwa, the President, MAGUFULI, on the 54th anniversary of the Union, here, and for him for inviting me personally to be here. It was also great to meet with the President of Zanzibar at the same time. I want to say that the bank, is a great supporter of Tanzania. The bank has been operating in Tanzania since 1971. So our development marriage with Tanzania, it's about 54 years, almost 54 years, just like the country. We discussed a number of things. First and foremost, I told the President that I'm a great admirer of his tenacity in reforms. Reforms of how government functions in terms of accountability, in terms of delivery of results, in terms of making sure that the resources of the state are used well. And obviously for us as African Development Bank, we are all for good governance. And so I am all, a great supporter of that. I also congratulated the President on the economic performance of the country. If you take a look at the growth rate of the country today, it's roughly about 7%, 7.1%, which is actually one of the highest in the world. And so it means that a lot of the efficiency gains that have been made are working. We discussed a number of structural issues that we can support the government on. Let me say that for the African Development Bank, since we started operating here, our portfolio here has been, close to $4 billion. And in terms of active portfolio right now, it's about $2 billion. And so, Tanzania is a very, very big country for us. And so Mr. President and I discussed a number of areas that we think are important. First and foremost is the whole issue of energy. And how do we support the energy, with hydropower, and also helping with the reforms of TANESCO, which we think is very, very important. And the President expressed his desire to also see quite a lot more work being done to provide access to electricity in rural areas. As you know, the African Development Bank, we've invested a lot in energy, with the DODOMA substation that is part of the backbone, which is actually working very, very well. The other area that I discussed with His Excellency the President is the whole issue of infrastructure. As you know, when he was Minister of Works, he was a very dynamic Minister of Works. And the African Development Bank has invested about $1.1 billion here on roads. The total amount of roads about 1,400 kilometers. And so I told the President that we will be very committed to helping with other types of infrastructure roads that are needed. Mr. President made it very clear that in his speech this morning of declaring Dodoma a city, which means Dodoma will need infrastructure. And we discussed quite a lot about that. And we also obviously talked about general issues of regional integration and how infrastructure can support that. All in all, I assure Mr. President of the full support of the African Development Bank behind his vision, behind the private sector in the country, so that we can help Tanzania to have a quantum leap in growth. And I'm very excited with my discussion with the President, and I think Tanzania is on the right track.